So we're looking at M. Remember, we are coming from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. M is A to Z of export business financing, and is basically telling us how to effectively finance. And in a bid to make it easier, the A to Z of export business financing have been arranged in an alphabetical order just to address different areas, just to cover almost all the areas that we believe need to be covered to be able to have an each free export business financing. It's a challenge today in Nigeria, financing export, but we believe strongly if we can throw more light into the space, it will become easier for bankers to consider the financing of export business in Nigeria. M is mitigating payment risk. Mitigating payment risk. Mitigating payment risk. There are two major risks in a typical export transaction. There is what is called performance risk, and there is what is called payment risk. There is what is called performance risk, and there is what is called payment risk. Performance risk is on the part of the seller, and that has to do with inability to ship on time and in time, inability to ship the right quality and quantity, inability to ship on time and in time, inability to ship the right quality and quantity. Right quality and quantity. But on the other hand, that's on the part of the exporter. On the part of the importer, we also have risk. This time around is called the payment risk. This time around is called the payment risk. The payment risk. The payment risk has to do with inability of the importer to pay, or inability of the importer's bank to pay. Inability of the importer to pay, or inability of the importer's bank to pay. Payment risk. So these two risks drives every decision being taken in an export business transaction. These two risks is driving it. But in M, we are mitigating payment risk. So a bank is asking, looking at the question, looking at the request and asking itself, where is the payment risk here? And how do we mitigate it? Where is the payment risk here? Where is the payment risk here? And how do we mitigate this payment risk? The ability to mitigate the payment risk gives the bank comfort, which is why I'm of the opinion that when you are talking to the exporter now, a request to the bank for financing, you should be able to show the bank how you intend to mitigate the payment risk. If you are able to show the bank how to mitigate the payment risk, you stand the chance. You stand the chance. You stand the chance of getting that financing. Remember, the banker you're talking to, most of them are not familiar with export. So looking at it, there is a concern already. And these are the highest level. You know, there's some time ago I was at a forum and I was facilitating a breakout session. And the breakout session have a lot of the bank MDs present, and it was 2 breakout sessions. Some of the bank MDs were in my session, and then I was in the session. I was nominated actually by them to facilitate, having done a panel session. They probably were impressed, and they said, "Okay, you handle this session." So now, as I was facilitating that session, that particular breakout session, when I see the way they were talking, and these are tier 1 banks MDs in Nigeria, I can see right there, they were not interested in financing export. They were giving me reasons why they will not finance. And I can understand, they've been burnt. I can understand, they've been burnt. That's why they're telling me, guy, you see that particular project? I was the one that financed it. You see this one? I was not a financing. You see this one? So I was dumbfounded, really, because I was trying to convince them, but I know that it's a lost battle, trying to convince them. It's a lot, because if I'm going to convince them, then we will need more time for me to show them what they need to do. Because from what they said, obviously they are not monitoring. And because they are unable to monitor, their staff were unable to monitor, they lost money. So because of that, they would rather focus on where they will make money without stress, rather than losing money unnecessarily. Now, so that day, I realized that we have a big problem in Nigeria in financing export. If the MD, CEO of this organization are talking to me and saying, Dele, we cannot do this, as in this will not work. Dele, this will not work. So it was my water against theirs. And like I said, I think we had about 40 minutes for that session. So I didn't have this luxury of time. Imagine we've been doing this now. This is part 5, and we still have about 3 or 4 parts to go. And we are talking every week. So imagine how many hours. This is going to be about 8-9 hours of lecture talking about how to mitigate payment risk. So you can understand the mindset. So that's why if an exporter is presenting a request for loan for export, he must show the bank the risk and what he is doing to mitigate in his request. In his request. And because a number of them might not do this, that's why I recommended under application that is very, very important for banks. It's very, very important for banks to try as much as possible. To try as much as possible to have an application form. I'm waiting to see the first bank that will adopt that. So that when the person is filling an application, want to apply for loan, you will have put there, what are your potential risks? How do you intend to mitigate it? That is a question that should be on application form. So, when we put application form together, it will make the customer to even go and think. So by the time he's submitting the form, he has thought through. The application form will make him to think through. Some of them might not submit. Actually, and mark the compulsory field that they must fill, compulsory field. Some of them will not submit. They won't submit because some of them have not thought it through. And that will save the bank the headache. So even if the account officer is not well, it's not like the head office guy that have a good hold of this, it will be easier to sieve the tears from the wheat. It will be easier to sieve the tears from the wheat. Mitigating payment risk. Mitigating payment risk. Mitigating payment risk. Out of the 4 commonly used payment methods in international trade, what are the 4 commonly used? Open account, which CBN does not want in Nigeria, and against them not allowing it. Letter of credit, which everybody wants, but the trader don't want it again. Bill for collection, which a number of people want, but not so many. And then advance payment, payment in advance. Out of these 4 commonly used payment methods in international trade, only 2 of them protect the exporter against payment default. And this includes letter of credit and advance payment. 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 The open account is also called cash against document, and bill for collection are not secured. Are not secured. So that means if I have a trade transaction with which letter of credit, with which payment method is open account, a cash against document, or bill for collection, naturally a bank will resist. Naturally a bank will resist. Someone said, I thought we have gone past the issue of open account with CBN. Is it still an issue to them? Why? What can we do if we get transactions that are based on open account mode? Mr. Dan, tell them to change it to bill for collection. When they change it to bill for collection, they can still send their document and send you copies. That's what I advise them. Because you won't be able to, when you're filling online, you only see letter of credit, advance payment, and bill for collection. You won't see open account. So let them change it to bill for collection, and then they send their document if they want to send it, and then drop copy for the bank. What is critical is that the money come back eventually. What is critical is that the money come back eventually. So payment method like open account, also called cash against document, and bill for collection do not offer a security for payment to the exporter. Hence, an exporter should not accept these two payment terms except he has been able to find a way to mitigate it. Now, if you are comfortable with it as a person, then you won't need a bank to finance, because a bank will not finance you. There is a CBN guideline now in respect of assessing intervention fund for export from non-interest bank. An exporter with a good structure and proven record will be able to assess such. Yes, Testim, I agree with you. I agree with you. We need to encourage, we need to disseminate those kind of information and encourage people to take advantage of them. We need to grow non-oil export. We need to grow non-oil export. So if you have a bill for collection and you have an open account, a bank will not be interested in working with you. But let me talk to you if you want to use that. Here is my take. To accept open account and bill for collection as an exporter, please ensure you have a representative at destination. I'm talking to the exporters now. Ensure you have a representative at destination. If you don't have a representative at destination and you are doing it for the first time, it's not wise at all. Unless you are willing to risk that amount of money. Your risk appetite is good enough. You are willing to risk it to try. Not bad idea. I've done that before. Not a bad idea. But if you think if this money does not come by to crumble your business, please don't do it. Have a representative at destination. The representative can be a, okay, I will talk about that under O. Since we're doing O today, let me talk about that under O. One way to do this is to get an agent, usually an export management company or relative or friends in the buyer's country to monitor delivery. To monitor delivery. Also, that agent will get evidence of receipt of goods. That agent will get evidence of receipt of goods. That agent will get evidence of receipt of goods. Now, this is talking to you if you still want to go ahead and do a bill for collection, or you want to go ahead and do an open account with a buyer, but you want to mitigate the likely risk of not getting paid. You want to mitigate the likely risk of not getting paid. So I'm basically saying that a bank will not accept the open account transaction. They will not accept a bill for collection transaction. But you can go ahead and do it if you are okay with the risk. but you should do it also in a secured manner. You should do it also in a secured manner. You shouldn't do it in an irresponsible manner. And to do it in a secured manner is what I'm recommending when I said use a representative at destination. And I will talk a lot about that representative later on. If the arrangement above is not possible, exporter should either request for a standby letter of credit or a payment guarantee. So if I must do bill for collection, if I must do open account, I must be asking for a payment guarantee or a commercial standby letter of credit. Now, some buyer will not do letter of credit because of the delay and discrepancy of documents. But they are willing to give you undertaking that they will pay. They are willing to give you undertaking that they will pay. That for me is a good transaction. Since they are willing to give you undertaking that they will pay, that is a good transaction. That is a good transaction. And because that is a good transaction, you can go ahead. Why? There is an irrevocable commitment of a bank to pay. So that means you will still do your open account, do the shipment of the goods, send document directly, but you expect payment to come in future. If that payment does not come in, you have a cover. You have a cover. You have a cover because you have a commercial standby letter of credit or a payment guarantee from the buyer's bank. In an open account transaction. Now, if it's a bill for collection transaction, if you have been following this series, we discussed at part 1, in part 1, the concept of avalization of bill of exchange. Avalization of an accepted bill of exchange. Avalization of an accepted bill of exchange in a tenor bill for collection is a way of securing the payment. You know, in bill for collection, the document will be given to your bank in Nigeria after shipment. That document will be sent with a bill of exchange to the buyer's bank. The buyer's bank will give it to the buyer to accept, and the buyer accepts, but the buyer's bank is then guaranteed that based on the acceptance of my customer to pay you in future, I'm also guaranteeing I will pay you. Avalization of bill of exchange. If this option of securing payment cannot be obtained, the exporter should restrain from signing the contract. If he does, he should not expect any bank to be comfortable to fund the shipment under such a contract. He should not expect any bank to be comfortable to fund the shipment under such a contract. We move on now to N.